Before we move on, I want to do a few things in this to tidy up a little bit. What we did in the previous video was that we went and added the animation script, the move left and right script to this platform, and we left the animator script to this platform just so we can look at the contrast between the two. Now, I don't really need the animator script on this one since this script does a lot more than the animator script and gives me more versatility. So I'm going to go ahead and select this one right here, this prefab, and I'm going to hit apply on this prefab. Now when I go to this prefab, you'll see that that move left and right script was added here. All I need to do to this prefab is just go ahead and remove that animator. And then if I hit play from there, what we'll see is, well, what we should see is that both of these are moving based on the script itself. And there we have it. And you can fool around with this by changing the speed of one and the distance. So I think this one at 3:2 would work. All I need to do is start it off somewhere over here and maybe make it a little bit smaller. So let's try that out. So the distance is too much. There we go. So I'm gonna put this small one at 2:2. And obviously your game could be different, so go ahead and adjust it in conjunction to what you're doing. I'll go ahead and save this. The next thing I want to do is some tidying up here, over here in the hierarchy. So I'm going to right click and create a new empty, and I'm going to want this empty. Right now, because I had this platform selected, it added it inside the platform. That's not where I want it. So I'm going to drag it all the way up here to the top. I'm going to rename this environment. And then I am going to, here's my background. This is part of my foreground stuff. My player rig. And here's my smoke. And I'm going to rename this smoke to something like particle system smoke. So PS smoke. So I'm going to select this smoke. I'm going to select the grounds. I'm going to select the water, even the platform here, and this background here. I'm going to select all of these. And the way I'm selecting these is control and clicking them. So after selecting all of these, I want to drag these into this environment folder. The problem is, though, when I click on this environment folder, if I look over here at the position, it's like these weird positions. I don't want it in weird positions. I want to set everything back to 0 and set scale back to 1. So now I have it centered. Now I can go ahead and select, control select the water, platform, ground, all this other stuff that I want to drag in there. And then I can go ahead and drag it inside of there. That way they're all centered and nothing has to move if I needed to drag it anyplace else. I can select this environment group here and I can go ahead and click on the static, and I'm going to click yes to children. The only other thing I need to do is make sure that the things that move is not labeled as static. So underneath here, I'm going to select the platform and see the platform say static. So I'm going to take that off the platforms. So because file organization is like one of the most important things you can do for any project, and folder structure is extremely important. That's why we took the time to do this. So that way we can fold things up. As we're adding things, we can begin to make sure we name things. Even though we were doing that the whole time, you want to make sure that you continue doing that and making sure that everything is neat and tidy. So that way, as your program or your game develops, it won't be a mess.